What's up guys, I'm Ace, and today we're going to be looking at Dior Homme 2020. Now this one has not had the best reception in the community, but I actually feel that this one is not bad. I will say that I agree with a lot of people when they say that the older formulation of Dior Homme is a bit of a better fragrance, as far as to my taste goes. But the thing is, the original Dior Homme is not something that I can actually recommend to you guys and say, oh yeah, you'll love it, pick it up, because it is predominantly floral and basically floral and chocolate. So it can come across pretty feminine. So it's not something that I can comfortably recommend. It is one that I like for me, but it's not one that I can really recommend to people. This one, Dior Homme 2020, is one that I'm very comfortable recommending. Basically what this is, if you're not familiar with Dior and their men's fragrances, they have another one called Sauvage that is built around a synthetic note called ambroxan. And it has some natural ingredients in there to go along with that one synthetic, the big synthetic note, but it's built around ambroxan. So it mostly smells like an ambroxan fragrance. Ambroxan is kind of an aquatic type of feel. This one is basically the same thing as Dior Sauvage, but it's built around ISOE Super, which instead of being a synthetic aquatic, it is a synthetic wood. So it smells really woody, very pleasant, and basically it's doing what Sauvage did, but for a different genre of fragrances. Just like Sauvage, which is one of the most popular men's fragrances out there for very good reason, just like Sauvage, this one is appropriate for any possible situation. This is among the most versatile fragrances you can buy. It is good for the summertime because it's fresh enough for the summertime. It's good for the fall, it's good for the spring, and you can get away with it in the winter. This one I don't think is very powerful, so I would go a little bit heavier on the sprays in the wintertime. Like 6 sprays or so, if you're going to be outside in the wintertime. Otherwise it's a 3-4 sprayer. This one's pretty solid. The scent is excellent. The dry down, which I have over here, is really great. You get mostly that ISOE Super, but or at least that's the biggest note, but people are saying that's all it is, and that's just not true. Not even remotely. There's a lot of other woods in here. I can tell there's a little bit of natural woods in here too, like some natural cedar, I believe. And it's not overly synthetic. I'd say actually this is less synthetic, a good bit less synthetic than Dior Sauvage, and even a little bit less synthetic than the older Dior Homme, because that lipsticky iris is actually a synthetic note, if you didn't know that. But I really think people will really like this one. This is one that I wear occasionally. Not one that I wear a ton. It's one that I wear occasionally, and it's one that I think that people who are new to this really will like, because it's very modern. Really nobody out there is going to smell like this, but it's very modern and very in style and very inoffensive. But it does perform well enough that people will smell you, and it's a big compliment getter, and very masculine because it is woody. Even more masculine than Sauvage with that pepper and the aquaticness. I'd say this is very masculine. And for being so masculine, it's among the most pleasant fragrances that are very masculine. Most fragrances, I'll go ahead and say, are unisex. Like most men's fragrances, women could wear, and some women's fragrances men could really wear if they wanted to. This is one that I would say is strictly men or very masculine leaning women, very, very strong women. Because this is very much a masculine fragrance. But if you're a dude, this one's great. I would say the longevity on this is somewhere in the 7 to 8 hour range, which is, by my standards, just good enough. That is obviously a lot better than a lot of things out there, but that is good enough for me to care, for me to be able to recommend it. I'd say 7 to 8 hours, that's you know, that's worth a recommendation. That's good enough. And the projection on it is about average to slightly below average. Not to say that it's bad at all. It's not. It's just not. It's not a room filling fragrance. It's a, you know, just the area around you type of fragrance. And the sillage on it, which is kind of, if you were to walk past someone and them get a waft, that part is called sillage. The sillage on it, I'd say, is slightly above average. Not enough to be overwhelming, but a little bit above average. And I'd say that is a good balance to have, especially for something like an office fragrance, or like I think it's really meant to be an everyday, this is your go-to cologne that you wear. This one's awesome. Great gift. Everyone will really like it. This one is a solid 8 out of 10 for me. And I would say, honestly, it's more like a 9 or a 10 out of 10 as a starter fragrance. If you don't have anything else in that versatile category, like if you don't have a Dior Sauvage and you don't want something like that, if you don't want that shower gel vibe, you want to go for something a little bit different instead of smelling like kind of everybody else does, this one's awesome. And it does the same stuff. It can work in all the same situations. This one I would say leans a little bit classier than it does casual. So this is a little bit more of a dressed up fragrance than a t-shirt fragrance, but it still works great in a jeans and t-shirt. It doesn't lean formal enough that it comes across odd if you're wearing a t-shirt. It just makes, if anything, it just makes that t-shirt seem a little bit classier than if you weren't wearing anything. But it goes great with a suit. It goes great with a button-down shirt. Fantastic for that stuff. And I'd say that gets it pretty high marks from me. As far as the actual scent and the notes within it, it's pretty simple. You have a little bit of citrus up top in the beginning, but it's not enough to really combat that woods. The woods are always up front and forward, but there's a little bit of citrus underneath it in the beginning that kind of dies down and goes away, and it really goes down to just that woody combo. It's very linear, and it's ISOE Super is the synthetic chemical, and what ISOE Super smells like is kind of cedarwood and sandalwood mixed together. So it's a cedarwood and sandalwood type fragrance, and to me it's very well done. I think it does actually have some natural cedar and some natural sandalwood in it along with that ISOE Super. This actually comes across very high quality. It's impressive to me for the money you're paying, which I believe even retail is just under $100. Correct me if I'm wrong, but really fantastic value for money from Dior. And the atomizers on these are the best in the business. See, you can barely see it on there because it's so dispersed. It's a very wide cloud, very wide dispersal. Excellent atomizers. The best of anybody. I think this is a very good bottle design, very classy. Would look good on anybody's shelf. And even though for me this is not one that I want to wear as much as I like to wear the original Dior Homme and the original Dior Homme Intense, this is one that I can much more easily recommend to you guys and say, if you want something a little bit different that is versatile, so something that can do things that a blue fragrance would, but it's not a blue fragrance, this one's awesome. I'd say if you're starting out a collection, or if you're just starting off in general with getting fragrances, I would say you want something like a Dior Sauvage, you want something like a Creed Aventus, and this would be a good third. This would be a good third option. Then you have a blue fragrance, citrus woody type fragrance, and then just a woody fragrance. I think that's a good spectrum to have. And then you can have a few to mix it up, and you'll actually be able to wear them because none of them are like, for example, Tom Ford up there, Tom Ford Ombre Leather, that you can't wear sometimes. It's a little bit too strong, a little bit too much sometimes. Yeah, it has to be the right situation to wear it. None of this is not one like that. You can really wear it any time. It's never a bad choice to wear. So I think this one's pretty solid from Dior. I'm not going to hate on it near as much as everybody else did. I don't think it deserves all the hate that it's getting, because really the original Dior Homme it's a niche styled fragrance in a designer bottle, but I feel like we all kind of knew that couldn't last forever. They have to make money, and this is one that can actually make money for Dior, and one that I hope will start selling as much as Sauvage does, so that not everyone will smell like Dior Sauvage, because this was really good, and I think a lot of guys would really like this. Yeah, I guess that's about all I have to say for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Check out down below for links to my eBay store, at least one fragrance discounter, and my album. You guys have a great day.